All right, hello everyone. So we are out here at Chickasha for our virtual field day. First of all, I wanted to thank Oklahoma Wheat Commission for the support for this program, Oklahoma wheat producers for their checkoff dollars and very good support for the program as well. So also wanted to thank the research station here, South Central Research Station, everyone here for helping us to manage the trial, and the county extension educator, Ellie Minor, and everyone helping us here with our variety trial. So here at Chickasha, just to give a brief overview of the trial, this trial was planted October 23rd. It had it available, accounting with soil nitrogen, a total of 150 pounds of nitrogen during the season. And also this trial behind here in the block behind this first range, we also have what we call the intensive management trial. So you received an additional 40 pounds of nitrogen and 2 fungicide applications. So here it's a very good trial for you to see the disease pressure in varieties that have susceptibility to stripe rust, as we are seeing some stripe rust here today, and back there varieties that respond to the fungicide application. So just starting here with varieties from OGI. So we have here Gallagher. Gallagher is a well-known variety in Oklahoma, one of the most, the top grown variety here in Oklahoma. It has a very excellent grazability, very good forage potential, great grain yield. It has Hessian fly resistance and leaf rust resistance. It's on the medium early side for first hollow stem and medium maturity. So as we move up here to one of the newest releases of OGI as well, so we have Strat Cl Plus. So this variety is basically has about 75% of what double stop has. So consider the replacement for double stop. So has a very aggressive fall growth, so fall forage production. It does have the genes for the clear field system. It has a great disease resistance package, as you can see here today. It's clean on diseases and leaf rust, stripe rust resistance. It is susceptible to barley yellow dwarf. On the medium side of maturity, so I think the biggest difference to double stop is maturity. So this Strat will be about 4 days earlier, 2-4 days earlier, depending on the year, as comparison to double stop. So the biggest difference here would be maturity. Other than that, it's very similar, very good yield potential. And moving up here to Smith's Gold. So Smith's Gold is also considered a replacement for Gallagher. So it does have equal or better yield than Gallagher, in a better stripe rust and better quality. So excellent grazability. It's one of the few varieties that we have that has resistance to green bug. First hollow stem, our long-term data shows inconsistency, so we don't have a decided set on that yet, but it's an inconsistent first hollow stem, but it has shown to give a few more days of grazing as comparison to Gallagher. So also very tolerant to low nitrogen, drought tolerant as well. So moving up here to Showdown. Showdown is also one of the newest releases from OGI, very high yield ceiling. It's also for grain only and dual purpose system. It has a broad disease resistance, so it has resistance to stripe rust, Hessian fly. I will say that it is moderate susceptible to leaf rust, so it's a good idea to manage with a fungicide if leaf rust pressure is high. On the forage, on the fall forage production, it's more conservative fall forage production. So if you're aiming for that fall forage growth, so consider increasing the seeding rate to get more out of that fall forage production. But it has shown in our dual purpose trial to recover really well from grazing. It has a moderate tolerance to acid soils, and it has a good standability. So when we compare here Showdown and Green Hammer, we say that Showdown is more like a high maintenance variety, and then when you move here to Green Hammer, it's what we call a low maintenance variety. So Green Hammer, also from OSU. It has a high yield potential, good forage production. It has shown in our trial. So here in Chickasha this year, it is one of the top fall forage producers here in our trial. Great combination of disease resistance for both stripe rust and leaf rust, and you can see that here in the plots today. Also, first hollow stem is inconsistent on this variety when you look at the long-term data, but heading time it's on the early side, so say mid-early, which it could make it a little bit more susceptible to those late spring freeze events. It is a variety that is very tolerant to acid soils, has a good standability. It has shown to be a tough variety, so low maintenance, tough variety, and does well under low nitrogen environments as well. Here, Baker's Inn, and also from OSU, it is a variety, as the name says, it has a great baking and milling quality, also good yield potential, excellent dough strength, and resistance to stripe rust as well, tolerant to acid soils, and good standability. All right, so as we move here to OK Corral, OK Corral is also one of the newest releases from OSU. It's a beardless wheat, so but it's a beardless with that grain yield potential, forage potential, so it's for all systems, grain only, dual purpose, and hay as well. So great disease resistance package. It has resistance to Hessian fly, stripe rust, leaf rust, so you can see here today is very clear. It could be affected if leaf rust get on early in the season, but it does have the adult plant resistance for leaf rust. Also, very tolerant to acid soils, good standability. It has shown to be doing really well in the trials. So moving up here to Uncharted, also one of the newest releases from OSU. This variety is considered a Bentley improvement. So it has 2 genes for barley yellow dwarf resistance, a better leaf rust than Bentley, very good grazability, and the disease resistance package is great, including resistance to leaf rust and a moderate resistance to stripe rust. It does well, very good tolerance to acid soils, as well as it has a good lodging tolerance. And so it is also a variety that is quick out of the gate, and you see they stay green. And one of the characteristics that you can see that resembles Gallagher as well is the color of the head, so that bright green color, exactly as Bentley shows. So here now moving to West bred varieties, so we have WB4269. This variety has a very high grain yield potential. It has done well in the trials in different locations across the state here in Oklahoma. Grazability, we say that is more recommended for grain only, and for grain only with a limited grazing. So it has a good disease resistance package, resistance to stripe rust, leaf rust, and it's moderate tolerant to acid soils, and it has an excellent lodging tolerance. Here, WB4401, also a West bred variety. It has a good forage yield potential, good yield potential, good disease resistance package, including stripe rust and septoria. It's on the medium early side for first hollow stem and on the medium side for heading. It has tolerance to acid soils, lodging tolerance, I would say it's an intermediate tolerance. So good tillering potential as well. As we move here to WB4699, also a variety with a high yield potential, and it has a good disease resistance package. We are seeing a little bit more pressure here from the stripe rust today, so it's something that we need to keep watching. It has a moderate resistance to leaf rust on the medium late side of heading, but it's on the medium side for first hollow stem. This variety is susceptible to acid soils, but it does have a good lodging tolerance. And here, moving up here to Bob Dole, so it's a variety marketed by AgriPro Syngenta. It is a variety with a very good yield potential. It's very quick out of the gate. We have seen it in the trials. Good disease resistance package to leaf rust, stripe rust. It is susceptible to hash and fly. On the medium side of maturity, it's tolerant to acid soils, and it has a good standability. It's a fairly tall variety, but it stands well. Here, SY Rugged, also from AgriPro Syngenta. This variety, it's high yielding on the dryland system, so good grazeability, great disease resistance package, great resistance to stripe rust, and you can see that here today. Moderate resistance to leaf rust. On the medium early side of heading, tolerant to acid soils, and moderate tolerant to lodging. So it has very good test weight and drought tolerance as well. As we move here also for other variety from AgriPro Syngenta, APF Rock. It has an average forage production. It is resistant to barley yellow dwarf, to leaf rust. We are seeing here a little bit of a heavier pressure from stripe rust today. On the medium early side of heading, it's tolerant to acid soils and very good lodging tolerance. SY Achieve CL2, also from AgriPro Syngenta. It has the 2 genes for herbicide tolerance for the clear field system. It has good forage production, moderate resistance to stripe rust. We are seeing some here today. Susceptible to leaf rust, so you need to manage with a fungicide if a leaf rust pressure is high. This variety has also shown in our long-term data for first hollow stem, it's consistently very early to reach first hollow stem, early at heading as well, which could make it more susceptible to the late spring freezes event. It's moderate tolerant to acid soils and also to lodging. All right, so moving up here to varieties from Kansas Wheat Alliance. So we have KS Dallas. This variety has shown a good forage production, a strong disease resistance package, resistance to leaf rust, a moderate resistance to stripe rust. Although we are seeing also some stripe rust here today, it does have resistance to wheat streak mosaic, medium maturity for first hollow stem and heading. It has susceptibility to acid soils, but it has and also an average lodging tolerance. KS Silverado, also from KWA, it's a white wheat, so it has a it's intended more for a grain only production. It is very good. It has a very good disease resistance package, moderate resistance to stripe rust, resistance to leaf rust. On the medium side of maturity for both heading and first hollow stem, moderate tolerance to acid soils, and it has a good lodging, very good lodging tolerance. Moving here to varieties from Lima Grain, so we have LCS Photo AX. This variety has shown a good forage production. It's intended for both grain only and dual purpose systems. It does have a moderate resistance to stripe rust, although it has a moderate resistance to stripe rust, although it is susceptible to leaf rust. It's on the medium early side of heading, medium side to reach first hollow stem. It is susceptible to acid soils and it has a moderate lodging tolerance. As we move here also, a variety from Lima Grain, LCS Chrome. It is a variety with a very good yield potential in forage production, broadly adapted in Oklahoma. It has a very good disease resistance package and a combination of both leaf rust and stripe rust, and you can see that here today. It's looking very clean on diseases. It's on the late side, very late to reach first hollow stem, late to head, which could protect us from those late spring freeze. It's tolerant to acid soils, and it has a very good lodging tolerance. As we move here also from Lima Grain, LCS Atomic AX. So this variety here is also for the coaxium system, has an excellent grazability, although it's intended more for a grain only and a grain only plus limited grazing. So stripe rust resistance, moderate resistance to leaf rust, and intermediate maturity for first hollow stem, and it's early to head. So it has a tolerance to acid soils and excellent lodging tolerance. LCS Fusion AX, also a coaxium variety from Lima Grain. It has, it's intended for a grain-only system, has an intermediate disease resistance for most of the diseases. It could be susceptible to stripe rust and moderate susceptible to leaf rust. On the medium side of maturity for heading and first hollow stem, has an intermediate tolerance to acid soils and also an intermediate tolerance to lodging. Here, a variety from Dynagrow seed, we have Buckhorn AX also for the coaxium system. First year in the trial, we're still learning about it. It has an intermediate resistance to stripe rust. We're seeing some pressure here today. It is tolerant to acid soils and it could lean at a time, so we need to watch for that. But yeah, first year in the trial, we'll know more about its performance by the end of the season. Here, a variety licensed by Ag Seco, developed by Kansas State, Ag Icon. It has a good forage production. It's intended for good grain-only and limited grazing. It has a very good resistance to leaf rust and intermediate resistance to stripe rust. On the early side of heading, and it's a medium maturity as far as first hollow stem. Has good acid soil tolerance and also good lodging tolerance. So here, variety by Plains Gold, also a coaxium variety. We have Crescent Ax. So it's intended for grain only. It has an intermediate resistance to stripe rust. It does have resistance to wheat streak mosaic, and it's moderately susceptible to leaf rust. It is on the medium early side of heading. It's early to reach first hollow stem, has a very good standability. Also by Plains Gold, we have a variety Guardian. It has the main thing about this variety, it's the combined resistance it has to both wheat streak mosaic and the wheat chromite. So it's moderate resistant also to stripe rust and leaf rust. So great disease resistance package. It's on the medium side of heading, and we are still getting data on first hollow stem for this variety. Has good standability and it looks very clean here in the trials today. Here, a variety marketed by AgriMax. So we have AM Cartwright. It has a good early vigor. We have seen quick emergence on this variety. Has resistance to Hessian fly, moderate resistance to leaf rust and stripe rust. It is moderate. It has a moderate tolerance to acid soils, but it does have a very good straw strength. Here, variety CP7909, marketed by Crop Plan, has an average forage production. It does have resistance to soil-borne mosaic viruses and intermediate resistance, and it's moderately susceptible to both leaf rust and stripe rust. So this variety will benefit from a fungicide treatment. It's on the medium side of maturity for first hollow stem and heading, and it has a good lodging tolerance. Here also from Crop Plan, we have a CP7017AX, also for the coaxium system. First year in the trial, we are still learning more about it. It is susceptible to leaf rust, it's tolerant to acid soils, and it has a very good standability. And here, moving up to our last variety, so we have Allegiant 3063. It's marketed by CHS. First year in the trials also, has a good emergence, Hessian fly resistance, and it's a medium maturity variety. It has also very good lodging tolerance, but first year in the trial again, so we are still learning about it, and we'll know more about this variety by the end of the season. But this variety could benefit from fungicide if rust diseases pressure is high in an environment. So today I covered some of them that we have here in the trials. Another thing that we are seeing here today, it's we had some hail damage. We are probably seeing some freeze damage. So we'll see how the data looks at harvest. Thank you.